I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast, the place where y'all come for motivation, inspiration, uplifting, and the overall positive message. I'm your host, DJ. And first of all, I want to start off by asking y'all how y'all doing. Um, like a few days ago, a few weeks ago, one of my friends, I just randomly, I feel like, man, let me just let them know, let me just ask them how they're doing. I hadn't talked to them in a little while, like had a real like a real conversation with them. Will send reels and stuff like that back and forth, but just checking on her and see how she's doing. And when I did that, you know, she thanked me. She was appreciative, and then she just told me a lot of stuff that's going on in her life and how important seeing that message at that time was for her. So I just told myself that I would start asking people how they're doing, how their day going, whatever the case may be. So that's how I wanted to start this video off. First and foremost, is just asking y'all how y'all day is going. But today's video, and it's about a conversation that I was having like 2 days ago with one of my coworkers. He was just talking about how he wanted to get in the gym, because he'd been like 130 pounds his whole life. His all most of his life has just been 130 pounds, and then he started losing weight. He's like, one day he get on the scale, he's like 126, and then the next time he gets on there 122. Next time he gets on there he's like 116. Next time it's like 112. So the doctor gave him something for his appetite and it's helped him, but he just wanted to get in the gym. So this was like a couple months ago when he told me he wanted to get in the gym. And so every single time that I would see him, I'm just asking, hey, how's you still in the gym? How's the gym going? And all of that stuff. So a few days, like 2 days ago when we were talking, he just said, thank you for, always checking up on me and asking me about the gym. That helps keep me accountable. And I'm like, oh man, no problem, bro. I try to, I just try to check up on people, man, because I'm also in the gym. So hearing about somebody else being in the gym, shooter, that it helps me, to just sometimes hear other people's gym stories and help and hear, how they may have struggled in the beginning with this. And, because he doesn't like to go to the gym by himself. So that was something that he had to get over because he finally did it. It was just something he didn't want to do. So he finally did it. And so we were just talking about that. And he he was just explaining to me that, so that's when he started to tell me about why he wanted to start going to the gym. So that's when he was telling me like all of that stuff. So he went to the doctor, and the doctor found, and he was back to 130 pounds. And the doctor was like, well, congratulations, you're back to where you were. And so, at first it was like, what he was saying, well, that's not an achievement. I don't know if he was saying it to the doctor, or if he was just saying it on the inside in his head, but he was just like, that wasn't an achievement to me. And I told him like, yeah, that is, for you to go from 112 or wherever he was at the time that the doctor gave him the pills or whatever it is for his appetite to back to 130. Like, yeah, that may be your original starting point, but you were down, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what that is, but you know what I'm saying? You're down a bunch of pounds and you to jump back up to 130. So what that was, like 18 pounds. So to jump back up 18 pounds, that's a step in the right direction. That's a start. And y'all already know on this channel how much I talk about celebrating those small victories. And that's an example of a small victory. Like, yes, if you think big picture, oh, getting back to 130, getting back to my original starting point, it may not be a big deal. But when we think about just taking steps in the right direction, no matter how big or how small those steps are, to go from 112 to 130, that's a huge step. Even though I know 130 was your original weight, you know what I'm saying? And you're just back to where you originally were, but still you were lower than that. And now you've been able to get up to 130. That's an accomplishment. That's an achievement. We have to celebrate those things because you don't know when that next achievement is going to come. And if we only wait to celebrate once we cross that goal line, those are a lot of gains and those are a lot of achievements that go uncelebrated. And when we don't celebrate them, we don't appreciate them, and now we don't feel like we're doing enough, or we don't feel like we are enough. And, in order to avoid that, we have to start celebrating those things, those moments, those milestones, celebrating those things, that those achievements, no matter how big or how small they may seem in that moment, celebrate those things. So another thing, so he said, I do try to do that, because and did when he went to the gym by himself for the first time, he celebrated that, because that was a huge moment for him, because that was like a big fear for whatever reason. It was a huge fear for him, was, I don't get out enough, or I don't go to the gym by myself. I have to have a partner. I have to have a partner. If I don't have a partner, I don't go. If somebody cancels on me, I don't go. So the fact that I went, because he says he's fallen in love with the way he feels once he's leaving the gym. No matter what workout he did, no matter how intense it was, no matter how painful or how sore he may feel, when he's walking out those doors of the gym after a workout, he loves that feeling. So he's going to start running around his apartment complex and stuff like that. And so, we literally sat there for about 30 minutes just talking. And so, like I said, he was just like, I appreciate you, reaching out. And I'm like, man, no problem, man, because we got to do more of that, especially as men, but especially as Black men. We don't check up on each other enough. Like, when they did the challenge of, men calling their guy friends and being like good night, and it was almost always the same reaction, like, what you telling me good night for? It's similar to that. Like, when we don't check up on each other, man, it's like, why are you checking up on me? And so for me, with my friends, I'm definitely trying to stop that. You know what I'm saying? I do my best to check up on them, to see how they're doing, how life's going, because I understand that, life isn't always easy. Life has its hard times. Life has its ups and downs. Life has its good and bad. So, I just want them to know that even though I may not be able to change anything, that you do have somebody who's here to listen, that you can vent to if you just need to get it out. You need to just talk to somebody. You just need to open up, that way you're not packing it deeper and deeper and deeper, emotionally. And so, I just letting them know that there is somebody that they can vent to, that they can talk to, about whatever it is that they're going through. And, I'm not going to sit here and just judge them or make them feel bad about the decision that they made. We can talk about it if they want to talk about it, but if they just need somebody to listen and that's it, I'm here for that too. Just being a supportive friend, and somebody that they can just lean on in hard times without having to worry about, is this person going to judge me? Is this person going to turn their back on me? Or, whatever the case may be, because we all go through hard times and things like that. So, for me, for example, I'm back living with my mom. So we go through it, you know what I'm saying? It's a part of life. It's a part of, your journey. You're gonna have your ups and you're gonna have your downs. And it's so easy to stay up while you're up. It's a lot harder to be up while you're down emotionally. It's, to be positive and to hold on. So, if I can be that for somebody, to help them, even if it's something as small as a, hey, how you doing? How your day going? Or a text message, just checking up on someone, can help lift their spirits even a little bit, then of course I want to be that for someone, because those are things that when I was in my darkest moments, those were some of the things that helped me get through. And those are also, when I didn't have those things, those are some of the things that I wish that I would have had, I would have appreciated a lot, you know, if I had got those things. So, just being there for those people, and being that pick me up for other people, man, it's huge. It made me feel good to be there for my friend, and for her to tell me, hey, I needed that in that moment. I needed that. How are you doing? I needed that text message to lift my spirits, or whatever the case may be. And for her to feel confident enough to tell me some of the things that was going on in her life, man, that was huge for me. You know what I'm saying? It made me realize how important it is to reach out to your friends, to check up on your friends, to make sure that even though on the outside everything may feel good, they may still be hurting on the inside. There may be stuff going on the inside that they don't want anybody to know about. So they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to speak on it. They're going to do their best not to show it. And sometimes things slip through the cracks, you know what I'm saying? Because we want to label our friends as the strong friends, the reliable friends, the friends who always have our backs. They're the ones who are always checking up on us. And we don't think to check up on them because they're so busy checking up on us that we assume because they have the time or the energy, the strength, the capacity to check up on us that they're good. You know what I'm saying? They can't be going in through anything if they can still, make time to worry about someone else's problems or be a light for someone else. You know what I'm saying? We don't think that they're going through hard times, but they are. We all are. We all go through hard times. And so going back to my conversation with him, so we were just talking. And, another thing that he said was, yeah, and then my family be hyping me up. They be telling me that, I'm looking big, I'm looking swole. And I'm like, and so he was kind of treating that like as a negative. And I'm like, nah, let them hype your head up, man. Let them be supportive. Let them uh give you something to smile about. Like understand that your hard work you're working this hard for something. And even if it's in your head something minor, which would be like a minor gain, getting back up to 130 is a small thing in your mind, that's a huge thing. And when people see you, they may see the work that you've been putting in from 112 to 130. So even though you're the same weight that you was before, you might not look the same. You know what I'm saying? That 130 might look a little different because there may be more muscle in that 130. So let your people celebrate you, man. You don't know how many people, do you know how many people out here wish that their family would support them, wish that their family would say nice things to them or let them know, hey, you looking good. Hey, I see you doing your thing. Like, take that, embrace that. That's a great thing, man. You got some good people around you who supporting you and who see you, who genuinely see the work that you putting in, and they're seeing the changes that you're making to go from where you were to at when you was at 112 to where you are now. And even if they look back, hey, these two different 130, they look different, you know. And so just embrace that. Like don't run from those compliments. Take them, even if again in your mind, getting back to 130 may not be an accomplishment, but that's not what other people see. Other people see the hard work. So when people tell me, hey, you looking good, you slimming down, I take that. I'm down over 30 pounds. So I'm taking that. I don't run from those compliments. When people tell me, one lady came up to me while I was on the treadmill and she was like, yeah, your trainer ain't on you today, because it was one of my days without my trainer. She was like, oh, you beating yourself up today. And, we both laughed and I gave her a high five. And it's like, I appreciate it because I am putting in a lot of hard work. I am putting in a lot of literal sweat into this, but I appreciate the people who see the work that I'm putting in and say something to me. I don't run away from the compliments because I look at it as it's all support. Even if they weren't trying to be supportive when they were saying it, whatever the case may be, I take it all as support, and I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for the people who say stuff like that because it does push me that little bit more. That does give me that little bit extra if I was feeling tired and I didn't want to, and I had like my last 15 minutes. It gives me a little bit more energy to get through those last 15 minutes on the treadmill or whatever the case may be. All those things add up for me personally. I appreciate all those things because I understand how hard it is to stay consistent with this or how hard it is for me. I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but I understand how hard it is for me to go to that gym 5 days a week, to, get on that treadmill and put those 45 minutes, 40 minutes on, 8, 9, 10 incline. You know what I'm saying? Those things add up, especially once you start to get to that last 10 minutes, those last 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Again, for me, it's a lot. So when I get those compliments, those are the things that I think about in those last 5 minutes, those last 10 minutes. I appreciate those people around me who are seeing the change, because it is harder for me because I see myself every single day. So it is a little harder for me, especially if I'm not on the scale, to see the difference. But when I'm at work and the people are telling me about the difference, it's like I'm appreciative of it. I remember a time when I just would have been like, nah, where did I lose the weight? But now it's like, thank you. I appreciate it because I know how hard I'm working to lose this weight. I know the work and the sweat that's going into losing this weight. So I'm appreciative of all of that, and I'm thankful. And I appreciate all the recognition that I get for the weight that I'm losing. Again, I may not visually see it, again, unless I'm on the scale. But for other people who may not see me for like weeks at a time, months at a time, for them to see it, I appreciate it. It lets me know that I'm doing something right. It makes it a lot easier to say no to certain things as far as like my meals and all that stuff, because, I want to keep these gains. I want to keep that good feeling of when I get on that scale and I see that I've lost a pound or 2 pounds, or, I think the other day, I think, I lost like 4 pounds. So it was like, I was super excited. So, and I know that it's changing my mind because I'm getting ready to go on a trip, and I'm sitting here thinking about, okay, well, I'm not going to be in the gym for a couple of days. What am I going to do? And so when I was talking to my mom about that, she was like, that's a huge change for you. Like, that's a big change in mindset for you. And I wasn't even thinking about it from that perspective, but she's absolutely right, to get to the point to where I'm worried about I won't be able to go to the gym for a couple of days while I'm on this vacation. Yeah, that's huge. That's progress. That's a big change. So yeah, man, it's a lot, but I'm appreciative of every little thing that I, every little compliment that I get, because I understand that this hard work is for something. I may not see the end result anytime soon, but I know that the work is going towards something, and I'm appreciative for all the people that are helping me along the way, whether they're literally in the gym helping me, like my trainer, or they're just like my mom being supportive and, just showing me a lot of love for the things that I'm doing and staying consistent and being consistent with this, because this is definitely the longest, without a doubt, that I've been on, like, just trying to take my health seriously and take my high blood pressure seriously. So it's a lot that goes into, these type of journeys, well, these type of lifestyle changes, because that's another thing that I did realize, that these are lifestyle changes. You know what I'm saying? This isn't like, oh, let me just do this for a week. Let me just do this for a month. Like, this is a new lifestyle change, because everything in my life has to change for me to lose weight. It's not just me going to the gym, and it's also, how I eat. It's also about what I'm doing on my off days, how I'm spending my off days, how I'm spending the time when I'm not in the gym, how often I'm eating. I'm learning to snack better, snack healthier. So it's really just every single day, every single decision that I make ties in some type of way into my health and into my weight loss journey. So it is, for me, a lifestyle change. It's me changing up everything little by little in my life, not just my gym routine, but like I said, my eating habits, snacking habits, and just also just finding other stuff to do with my free time. Because I know if I'm not doing much in my free time, my mind, at least, especially at the beginning of this journey, my mind will instantly go to food. And now I'm telling myself that I'm hungry. Now I'm telling myself I need to eat something, and whereas now it's more so, if I have that thought, it's like I'm checking the time. Has 2 hours passed in between a snack or a meal or whatever the case may be? I can definitely tell the difference in, how I was then and how I am now. And I do understand that this journey is a lifestyle thing and not just a trend. You know what I'm saying? It's something that, these are things that I have to change in my life at every single level, you know, but I'm appreciative of it because, again, I know that the work is going to amount to something. I know that the work that it already has. it already has, like I said, I'm down over 30 pounds. So it already has amounted to something. But I also know that this isn't my goal. But like I was telling my coworker, those small steps. So I celebrate, everything, and I do my best not to get too hard on myself if I either stay the same weight or I've gained. That lets me know that there are things that I need to be continue tweaking. And I also realize, I also had to realize, especially in the beginning, I know I've talked about it on here before, that I'm putting on muscle. So I'm not going to always see a loss because muscle weighs more than fat. So I'm not going to always see a loss. I may feel it more than I see it, even on the scale, but my clothes may be fitting a lot better. So even if the scale isn't changing that much, my clothes may be fitting a lot differently. So it's a lot of factors that go into it. And so I try not to let, when the scale doesn't change too much, first of all, I try not to weigh myself every single day. I don't know if you're supposed to or not supposed to, but I don't. I try to weigh myself either once or twice a week. Um, but you know, because I don't want to get too stuck. You know what I'm saying? So, because again, I know how I am, and I know I can get stuck in my head. I can get in my head, and be too much in my thoughts, and get into a bad space mentally. So, in order to help myself not do that, I don't weigh myself every single day. I might weigh myself twice a week. What 2 days? Who knows? I don't have a set 2 days. It's just I might wake up in the morning and be like, let me weigh myself. Let me see where I am. Or my trainer may ask, hey, are you losing weight? She may ask the day before. So I'll be like, well, I'll check in the morning and, we'll see. So those, are really the times when I'll, weigh myself and see where my journey is. But like a few days ago when I did weigh myself, I was 4 pounds heavier. And I'm like, oh, need to see what's going on with this. Worked out for 2 days. And again, like I said, it helps me with my diet, because when I see myself not getting the type of results that I feel like I should be, or I feel like, wait, gaining 4 pounds, I'm 4 pounds heavier than what I was, like something ain't right. That also helps me to kind of lock in, because it's like sometimes I do get a little forgetful, with my eating, so it helps bring me back to reality. Like, hold on, man, like, are you eating enough vegetables? Are you doing this? What's your serving sizes look like? So I can lose, because I lose focus sometimes. I'm human, so I do lose focus when it comes to eating sometimes. But I was able to lock back in, and I had lost like 4.5 pounds, and I haven't weighed myself since then. But you know, I know that it's a process, and I know that this work that I'm putting in, again, even though I may not see the finish line right now because I have such a long journey, but I know how to appreciate those small things, and that's what I was just trying to let him know. But was just appreciate those things. Like, I know it may feel like you're just getting back to your original starting point, and technically you are, but a lot of work went into getting back here. You was in a I don't want to call it worse spot, but for lack of a better way of putting it, you was in a worse space. You was at 112 or whatever you were at. Now you're at 130. There's a lot of work that went into getting to that 130. So don't minimize all that work that went into getting to 130 just because you're back to your original starting point. Celebrate all that work that you've done. Because one thing that I told him, one thing that I realized is when you don't celebrate those milestones and those steps in the right direction, and you're just waiting to get to that finish line to celebrate, it becomes long. That journey becomes even longer because you're not showing yourself that love and that appreciation for the work that you've done to put in it. So even when somebody wants to celebrate you, you're not taking that opportunity to celebrate because you're just so focused on, well, I'm not where I want to be. I haven't finished school yet. I haven't done this yet. I haven't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not there yet. And it's just like, yes, that is true. You're not there yet. You're not at the finish line, but that doesn't mean that you can't celebrate that you were able to accomplish something. Something did get accomplished. A milestone did get reached. Celebrate those things. It doesn't have to just be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be, we have to celebrate only the finish line, only the complete product. If you've taken a step closer to finishing that product, celebrate that. That is a reason to celebrate. That's a huge thing, you know, and that was something that I had to understand. And it makes the journey a lot easier when you take the time to celebrate those small things. Because if you only celebrate the big moments, and if those big moments are so far and few between, you know what I'm saying, you don't celebrate anything in between these big moments or start and finish, you know what I'm saying, that makes that journey a lot longer. But if you can celebrate those little milestones. Yes, I did that. You know, and you can start writing these little things like you want to, these benchmarks that you want to hit on your way to your journey. It'll make you appreciate the journey. It'll revitalize you every single time you celebrate because naturally you may get down on yourself. You may get bored. You may get tired. It may get mundane of doing the same old thing, wash, rinse, repeat. And, you know, sometimes you got to break the monotony of it by celebrating and being appreciative of those journeys, those small things that you do, those little steps in the right direction that you take, whatever little mini cross finish lines you cross, you know what I'm saying, that are like little goals and achievements that you want to hit, milestones you want to hit on the way, celebrate those things because it helps you in the end on your journey because your journey may be a long journey. Like again, for me, my weight loss is a long journey. This is going to be a process. This is going to be years and years to get to a certain type of, because I don't have a goal right now. You know, I just have a look in my mind of how I want to be. When I look in the mirror, I have that. So I don't know what that goal, I don't know what weight I need to be at to reach that goal. I just know what it looks like in my head. So I know that it's going to be years of doing this. And I know that there are going to be times during this process where I feel like, okay, I know what I wanted to do, but I've lost enough weight. I don't want to, but I got to keep, but I have little small goals. I have little things that I want to hit at certain times. And when I hit them, I'm celebrating. Or if something like the other day where I knew that I felt like I was up too high and, you know, got my eating back to where it needed to be. And I was able to lose 4.5. That's for me, a little celebration in my head. Like, yes, okay, you know, like I know I can do this. Let me lock back in. Let me get back to where I need to be. So it's those little things for me because I remember a time when I would have seen that weight and I would have just been ready to give up. Like, man, this ain't working. I'm not getting it. This is as much weight as I'm going to lose. This is my limit. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't let that get to me. I told myself there are things that I could be doing better. And I started to do those things better. And in the day and a half, 2 days, whatever it was, I lost those 4 pounds and I was back to where I felt I should, around the range where I felt I should be. And so now I have another target that I'm trying to hit by not next week, but the end of next week. So I try to do every 2 weeks. How to have like a goal set for every 2 weeks of a range to be in. And so those things help me. You know what I'm saying? Every 2 weeks have a certain range. That's what helps me, you know, to keep my mind right, you know, and then I'm checking the scale to make sure I'm within like a happy range for myself of where I feel I should be, you know what I'm saying? And again, that helps me with my food intake and things like that because I understand that it's a process, but also understand that no matter what you're going through, no matter what it is that you're working on that work that you're putting in is for a reason. You may not understand the reason right now. You may not see the vision right now. You may not see the end goal right now, but the work that you're putting in, the things that you're going through, the hard times, whatever it is for a reason. And just because you may not understand the reason, or you may not see the vision, or you may not see the goal, you may not see the finish line right now, doesn't mean that you're doing all this for nothing. It isn't for nothing. It's for something. You just may not know what that something is. And you may not know. You may not know until 5 years from now when you're going through something and it's just like, and then you need a certain skill and it's like, oh man, I remember I had did this one time 5 years ago. So you just don't know. But man, just keep pushing. You don't know when that answer is going to come. You don't know when that aha moment is going to come up. This is why I've been going through all of this. This is why I've been struggling so hard to get to where I need to be. This is why, you know, I've been going through all of this was to get to this point. I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know when that's going to happen for me. I don't know when that's going to happen for you. But what I'm saying is that it's going to happen, but because you're going through these things for a reason. May not know when that reason is, but it is for a reason and it will show up, man. But to summarize everything, man, everything that you're going through it for a reason. Just because you don't see it or don't understand the reason, don't stop and don't give up. Keep pushing through whatever it is that you're going through. Celebrate those small victories, celebrate those small wins, celebrate those achievements. I don't care how big or how small they are, and appreciate the people around you who want to celebrate you, who want to celebrate the things that you're doing, the journey that you're going on, the little things that you are doing. Well, they may be little to you, but they may be big to somebody else. Celebrate those things and celebrate the people who want to celebrate you. Be thankful that you have people in your life who want to celebrate you, man. Enjoy those things. But that's it for today's episode. And man, until the next time that we meet, I want y'all to stay blessed.